Hello. The game has started and my opponent has opened with hoax. I have a consonant heavy rack and there are no front or back hooks for hoax, so I'll likely be playing underneath. Or perhaps through the A. What about war for 11? I'd like to play off another consonant, but I don't want to play growl through the O. It just doesn't score enough. It's a good rack leave. Actually, I might do this. The rack leave's decent. That's a nice looking rack. ISO bear. Hopefully that plays underneath the L. I can pluralize growl. If that's taken, is there a bingo through the G? It is taken. That's a shame. So bingo through the G or the X. Exobaric, not quite. And I don't even know if that's a thing. The G does look handy. What would this look like? Not seeing it. What about the D? Wow, just not seeing it. The A, aerobias. That would work. For 70. Does not take an S. I had a little niggling doubt about the plural. So, isobear. What about the L? Laborize? No. Why does that doesn't sound promising? No. Laborize. No. Sounded decidedly made up. Okay, so it looks like no bingo this turn. Boardies. That's surely a word. There we go, finally. Hallelujah. Well, not quite, but close. Ukulele, no, not either. But Alleluia, no, not. If I had one less U and an extra, yeah, it's not even close. Leukemia, no. these two U's. I know there are a few 5 vowel 8s that do incorporate two U's. What about the Q? No, not seeing it. Now, got wall here for 20, not a great rack leave, but EAUX would sort the rack out fairly well. Hoppers, wow, opponent bingoes straight back and takes the lead. So what about a word beginning EU? Ululate. Ululate, no. What about a word ending in EAU? I just think that second U makes it really hard. Luau is one way of getting rid of two U's, but no great spot for luau. Well, I could play luau there. Luau. 6 points. Feels quite weak. I'm going with wall for 20. Okay. Opponent plays fast. Feuders. No good. I thought people who partake in a feud might be feuders. But what about refused? I refuse to accept. And that should work. Now, is there a better spot for it? No. Right, so opponent's playing pretty quickly. Quill and PEH, but that's where the story ends. Now, what can I do with my Y? Yes and ye, but that gives back easy score. Boardies can't be extended. I could play pi, P-U-Y here. Pioi. Pioi looks quite nice. For 34. Not great. I'm back to the two U's again. I have the miss prefix, but not great with the two U's there. Could play umus, but that doesn't score very well. Tenet, okay. So, how to get rid of the two U's? Umu, can't seem to play that anywhere. Cumin as a spice. Could play it here, but it doesn't score much. So what to do with this rack? Cumin or... I could just play come here because I do have an S. There's only one to come. Let's hope opponent doesn't have one. Ah! I've drawn the second one as well. So that's handy. Assuring. Opponent plays just the V. Sourcing is no good spelt that way. Could play gup and gas. There's quite a few A's to come, and I'd like to keep the U just in case I draw the Q. Gas for 19. Not great. I've drawn the V and the U. It's not great at all. So what to do here? Venus and scum. If I play Vena to the right of tenet, that doesn't really give me... It just gives opponent an easy score. So what about Venus and scum? Yeah, 32. Just go for score. Okay, opponent's playing fast. What to do with the Z? I've got ZO and ZES no good. So maybe a play of what can I do here? Deutzia through a T, no T available. The Z just eluding me. The spot, if I can draw one of those T's, I'd have zest and zo, and that'd be pretty good, but opponent likely to take that spot. Adieu. I could play adieu. Gee, that is crazy. Why would you do that? I'm creating a Z spot. Opponent likely to play through the U. It's volatile, but I like it. And I have drawn the T, so it paid off. Opponent likely to score quite well in the bottom lane. But I do have zest and zo. Now there is the IZE ending here as well. Itemize but not itomize. Atomize but not itemize. So very close. I've got ZE and ZO. Can't get from J14 across to the double word square, I don't think. But either way, there's some big scores here. Ads and Zitty, not quite as good as Zo and Zest. I don't think both can be blocked. Well, potentially if opponent plays from E15 across to the U, he could block both my Z plays. Interesting, he hasn't taken the Z spots. Now, is this better for 64, or is this better for 48? I'm inclined to say almost got a Ritz play, but I'm going with Zo for 64. Now opponent's got some good tiles. I've taken out these floaters, so he can score fairly well through the Z, but the chances of bingoing through the E and the I have been largely removed as a threat. Now, can I play through the OU? Oh, flouting. Great. Flouting and if. Could play TEF, T-E-F. And I might actually... No, I think I'll go with if for 51. Opponent plays West, and I've got a minute 30, and I've got a decent rack here. I've got teaming on to the G, but is there a better play from... if I've got a Etamin, yeah, that'll work. Etamin to go out for 30. So final score 450 to me, 330 to opponent. Thank my opponent for the game. Let's see what we missed. And my opponent opened with Hoax. That looks fine. Growl was simming best, even though the score is way lower than the highest scoring play. And opponent did have a bingo drylands, wetlands and drylands through the L. So nice bingo there. But there was a bingo through the R. Arborize, 87-point play there. I went with boardies. Took a while to find. Now, opponent's got a great rack here and a multitude of bingos to choose from. Rose hips being the 90-point play, but very volatile. Goes with hoppers. Now, no bingo here, and all the plays were in the kind of teens or early 20s. So I went with wall for 20, and now opponent's got some firepower, but yeah, he goes with jet. And then I've got a few bingos here. Refused, suffered, 76, fuskered. Refueled was the other one. That would have been quite nice, less dangerous than fuskered. But yeah, I did go with refused, which actually did take out a useful bingo lane. And opponent's now got the Q and the K. Scores 28 for cool. And then I've got Pi for 34, which is simming best. Posy, wow, 44 for that play. Not a great rack leave, but big score. Pi, and now opponent goes with Tenet for 19. That's also simming quite high. Net available as well for 21. And then I've got a little bit of a sneaky setup. I had one S, so I thought if I play come there, then I've got the S hook. So opponents, yeah, I think the other options I had were Mucor, which got rid of one of the U's. That's not bad. 27, creating a useful floater which goes well with these four. So actually I do like that play a lot. But I went with this play up here, come. And then opponent's got a 30-point play. But he goes with Vor. And then no bingo here, but Saver for 24. That's actually quite nice. This rack leave pretty strong, considering there are no U's to come. And there is still a Q, so keeping the U back definitely good from an insurance point of view. But yeah, I think this is the play saver. I went with gas, and yeah, because I kept the other S back to hook on. Now opponent's got a 30-point play, again in the top right. Very risky with all these eyes to come. So goes with coal, and then yeah, not many great plays available on this turn, but Venus did score quite well, 32, so it just kept that margin that I needed to keep. Now again, the 30-point play top right, but with so many eyes to come, still a crazy idea. So opponent goes with Chi in a safer spot to the left of the T of tenant, and adieu for 18. But look at Izar. Yeah, I don't know about this. It's a decent score, but that could easily be a 30 to 40 point play if opponent is able to land the F or the W in a useful spot. I don't know. That is a big score though. Izar. Is it worth risking a bingo? Because an IER ending word could also be achieved with these tiles. Pretty flexible, so the more I look at this pool of tiles, the less I like leaving an I floating in the middle there. But as it happens, I left a U. Now the Q was gone, so that was another part of my thinking mentally, but U definitely less useful as a bingo floater. Opponent had Buntle for 27. Well, that would have drawn him almost level, but opponent goes with Ban. And now I've got this rack. Zo for 64, simming best. Mestizo. Well, no, I don't like this play at all. Play of FAWN, for example, would be more than 48 points, or at least as much. So happy with Zo. And opponent now does have a very good looking rack. Lentigo jumps out, but no spot for Lentigo. Lozenge for 34, but wouldn't have been enough. Yeah. Louting. I guess opponent might have been playing this in the hope he'd draw the F. And I had it. So if scoring 51 and simming best. I did think of Tef, but I wanted to go out in 2. And Towerier through an E. No E available. So opponent, and I think is warranted good onto a D. Yeah, I think it is. So no playable bingo there. Opponent goes with West, and then Etamin for 30 was best. So that was the end of the game. Hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.